There are some personal questions in here as well. I think I dumped this in here so people get to know us a little bit better.
Rob, how much can you bench?
This one asks, what did you guys do for work before content creation?
3,000 pounds.
What did you guys do for work before content creation?
I was an escort.
Escort?
No.
I knew it.
I ran an agency, my own agency. It did marketing work for people. So I did like videos. I did music videos, was another side thing with that, and made beats. But the primary income was website design and social media advertising, graphics. Self-taught. I went to school, but it was a ripoff, so I quit doing it. I quit school, college dropout, and then worked for a company called M Live that hustled me. And then I realized only going to this networking, this BNI thing, like I talked about before in another episode, I'm in there for M Live. And this dude there who's a client of theirs is like, man, dude, you're the guy who came in or you killed those pictures on the website, dude. It was great, man. I was like, hell yeah, dude, appreciate it. He was like, $30,000 well spent. I was like, $30,000 well spent. I got $300 a week, brother. Like $30,000 well spent. What? They paid what? So then I ended up, I had a non-compete clause with them, so I couldn't go and steal this guy. But I got a bunch of references from him, and then I was like, dude, if I get 2 clients that pay me $3,000 a month even, I am making way more money than I did at this shitty job that's taking all the credit for all my work. So that transitioned me into that, and then eventually it pushed me towards this niche because I wanted to teach my clients content marketing, and I was working on this side project, and I was like, check out what we're doing, or what one of my clients is doing here, and it had Trey on there, so it wasn't me. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, you know, with this? What about CBD? And it started like breaking open the thing where I'm like, dude, this is actually my channel. Like, you smoke? I was like, yeah. I was like, you know, you've been stoned and successful. And then it kind of made me think of this brand, the Stoned and Successful side. I was like, oh man, these people had no idea that I was out here really hustling and making it happen. And I'm this young dude compared to them. And I am baked. I came in here 3 blunts deep, you know, in a hash pen on the way here to the meeting, wearing a little suit, looking all cool. And yeah, slowly but surely morphed into SEAL TV.
That is wicked. That's a pretty awesome story. I like that. You have a pretty wicked backstory as well. Like,
yeah, you want to go first?
Impressive. No, you go.
You want me to go first?
You go first. You go first. You go first. You go first. You go first.
People think that the songs this shit's skipping.
He's like, what's going on here? It's good.
Oh my god! I worked at Amazon. A lot of people know this. I've spoken about it several times in the past episodes and stuff like that.
Delivery driver?
No, started as a picker packer shipper in the fulfillment center in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Damn.
And I started as a temp associate, got hired on full time, worked my way up to assistant manager, then an actual area manager in their fulfillment center. I got transferred from Nashua to open up a brand new facility in Allentown, Pennsylvania, 1.5 million square feet. They had like 5,000 people that were there. I was one of 25 people that actually knew what the heck was going on. Everybody else was brand new, so it was a complete nightmare for that year and a half that I was there. Then I got transferred to Las Vegas at one of the return centers. Continued to be an area manager there, but then transferred over to the corporate side of things a little bit. I worked at closely with their Seattle operations, their corporate area. They have a big corporate area in Seattle, headquarters really. And I was doing kind of their warehouse deals. I think they call it open box now, but when like somebody returns an item, they'll grade it. Amazon, the process is grading it and then putting it back on the shelf at a reduced price. So I was in control of that. I would travel to different countries. I mean, I was in Poland, Scotland, teaching these folks how to do this new process. And I got burnt out after 8 years. And I was like,
no kidding.
Tired
Holy
of working
shit.
10,
one
12,
of 25 people.
I didn't know any of this.
10,
I knew
12,
you worked for Amazon.
15 hours a day sometimes working. I would
corporate
often go
life,
home
too.
and take my laptop and open it back up after I get home and work till bed, you know what I mean? And then wake up and anyways. Before that, I was in real estate for a year and a half, the worst possible time to do it, 2008. So I was in and out of there in a year and a half, sold one house, one rental. And then before that, I did 3 years as a sales associate for Nextel and Sprint.
Where you at?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was one of those guys at the mall kiosks.
Oh, no, I hated you.
Dude, I was like,
You guys want a phone? Free phone. All you got to
Yep.
do is sign you and your family up for 10 years.
Oh man, they trained me some unethical ways, like grab people's phone, be like, "Come here, let me show you the new ones," and like, oh dude, it was.
Did you use an accent? You're like,
Yeah,
come here, come here.
Yeah, oh,
Like,
I
did you-
would. Fun times. We would mess around like that. It was actually kind of fun approaching people and just messing around the whole time. But that we had a couple different kiosks at a few different malls, and I was like 18, 19 at the time. So I was thrilled because this kiosk was on one side there was an Express, and on the other side there was an Abercrombie. So I just had cute girls just around me all the time. I was able to approach
brother.
cute, you know what I mean?
And
I
you're
was in my
18?
prime, 18, 19, 20 years
mobbing around on
old.
this- oh, dude.
Yeah, and then before that, you know, when I was like 14, you know, my teenage years before that, I was landscaping. So I was mostly just landscaping. I loved that. Really loved being outside, working
Damn, I
working
didn't know
on
we were
lawns
getting
and
deep into
stuff.
that.
And
All my shit's embarrassing if we go past the last thing I said.
Yeah,
That's so dope.
I know. That's why I didn't want to go.
Yeah.
You guys have great stories.
Dude, you've been us. I had no idea how deep the Amazon stuff was because
it's
I always
brutal.
wondered.
He's totally shared that with
He's
us.
told us, but not as deep as how he
No,
got
but he just
moved
did
around.
now.
So I thought you got moved from the East Coast to Las Vegas and then loved it and never left. But I didn't realize the journey to get there. Because I always I'm so blown away when you go back far east, and I'm like, how the hell did you transplant yourself with no family out here, but you already were being moved around by yourself technically
Yeah.
so much that you were hardened
Yep.
to do this? It's like Dakota moving from Canada to Colombia. I'm like, what the heck? But he already
It's a
went to
long way to go.
Thailand. Like he went to all these other places, so it made him ready for the journey to do that kind of stuff. That's cool.
Stepping into it with no, it
cool
would be
as hell,
scary.
I almost got canned
Be
one time.
scared.
Let me tell you this real quick. I'll try to make it a 30-second story. At Amazon, with that fulfillment center that's 1.5 million square feet, picture a rectangle on, and the building is split into three. And so there would be mods where you pick the items on both sides and everything would flow into the middle of the building. Well, I was in control of making sure things flowed from the dock doors up into the pick mods. Okay, so totes would come in, and one time we received items on one side of the building and we had space to stow them on the other side of the building. So I transferred all these totes across the entire building, completely jammed up their conveyor system because it was brand new to all of us. The building was at a standstill because of me. You know, at the
embarrassment
outbound
anxiety
operation,
of
we're
that.
trying to ship hundreds of thousands of packages. We're at a standstill.
Complete
I almost got
moving.
canned, dude. I thought I was getting fired for that. We had to
that's
shut.
wild.
And I remember it was Call of Duty release date, so we had pallets of Call of Duty, and like people were
that's
getting their
why he
games.
doesn't play
and stuff.
games.
That's why I didn't get my package.
And this is probably why he won't play. He's like scarred. He looks at things.
You just look at the game, he just twitches.
Call of Duty.
Man, well, I'm glad. See, I'm glad I went last because mine wasn't nearly as fun. I'm not very smart. So I was in labor force, man. I was trying to get myself through school. I went to university. I graduated university, and I was roofing, man. I spent a lot of time roofing, commercial roofing, spending a lot of time on like really tall buildings and stuff, and putting roofs on top of them. And then after that, I worked for a family and a young fella in a wheelchair who had skeletal dystrophy. And I was pretty much his right-hand man, made sure that he got to university and back. And then I really learned a lot about the world in regards to how inaccessible our world is to people who don't have two operable legs.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of stairs, the amount of small hallways, the lack of parking. It is a really tough life out there if you're in a wheelchair.
Dude,
Like, and I don't mean like a wheelchair where you just park it up, you get
No,
out
but
of
like
it,
one that
and
you're
you
in
move.
for
Yeah,
life.
yeah. He's controlling it with his hand. Couldn't move more than just his hand to keep him going. And yeah. And you look at the world, and you're just like, holy man.
shout out to him, man. That's
So
a tough
yeah,
fella to
it
do
is.
that.
So I
To do that.
felt like an obligation to be like his bouncer. So when we would hit places where it's like things wouldn't happen, it was like, I'm getting you through this, bro, and we're getting through it together.
I could only imagine. Like, no.
No.
Come
I'm
on,
not
let's
settling.
go.
Yep.
Nope.
Let's
Move.
Yeah. Oh man, you had to. You had to. Yep.
Pigeons as pigeons today. I could imagine pigeons as pigeons then, with less of a care given to somebody running their mouth. You'd be like, oh yeah.
Yeah. The amount of times you'd be like in a hallway and stuff, and
That's
you'd be
true.
held up by people just talking. And here's a dude in a wheelchair, and I'm somewhat in front of him, off to his right, and they'd look at you, and they'd keep talking because no one else is moving, and it's like they didn't want to be the guy to shut up their friend, and to say excuse me. So I would, and I'd be like, excuse me,
Okay, can you shut your mouth, please, and move?
We're coming through here. He wouldn't skip a beat. He was coming. I would make sure it was out of the way. It was a
Pretty
mission.
much his lineman.
Oh, you have to. Oh, you had to. It was a great job. It was a great job. They were a beautiful family. They take good care of me. And it was COVID that ended that job because he unfortunately had a compromised immune system and couldn't work with him. And risky. So, yeah, shout out to Jay. He was a good guy.
Man, and that's right before he was bit by the bird and turned into pigeons.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider.
Yeah.
Me must have been a bird.
Yeah, must have been a bird.
Bar, son. Bar.
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.